I want to turn and talk about a story that I think touches on climate. It's just a little bit of a teaser story before I get to the real. I want to talk about the CNN. They held a town hall last week with the Democrat presidential candidates on the subject of climate. It was like 7 hours. It was painful. I didn't watch it, to be clear. I watched snippets. But 7-hour town hall on climate change, sponsored by CNN for all the Democrat presidential candidates. But before I get to that story and to talk about the things they said versus reality, there was a story I wanted to share with you, which has to do with one of those ships. You know, a lot of climate true believers in climate change, those deeply, deeply concerned about the idea that the climate change is happening, that the glaciers are melting, the polar ice is melting, that we're all going to float away. One of those ships was headed up to the North Pole. This ship filled with climate scientists and as well as climate tourists, and it was a documentary film team going up to the North Pole, trying to record and prove and show how the polar ice is just disappearing because of climate change. The ship, called the MS Malmo, M-A-L-M-O, got stuck in the ice. The ice, they say, that isn't there. The ice that's disappearing. So this ship, the MS Malmo, 16 passengers on board, got stuck in ice on September 3rd off of the long nearby Svalbard archipelago, halfway between Norway and the North Pole. It was so bad, they were so stuck in the ice, they say, that doesn't exist, that they had to fly in a helicopter to rescue the people, to drop down and rescue the people off of the boat because it is stuck in the ice. And this isn't the first time. In fact, it's at least the 5th time a known expedition heading off to the North Pole or South Pole to prove that climate change is melting the ice caps literally gets stuck in the ice. It would be comedy if it weren't so serious about the political agenda that the American left holds and the climate change advocates hold, and that's what we're going to turn to next. But that's that story, by the way. There was a very funny line I want to read to you before I close out this climate climate cult getting iced. There was a reporter covering this, telling the story about the 16 climate change warriors were evacuated by helicopter in challenging conditions. All are safe, which of course you want to have. 7 crew members remain on the board, waiting for Coast Guard to come and get them out of the ice. The reporter on this story, just describing what happened, wrote, "Something's very wrong with Arctic ice. Instead of melting, as ordered by the UN, it captured the ship with climate change warriors." So anyway, it's a little bit funny because it's just so absurd. It's like the times they have a climate march or a Earth Day march or a climate protest, and or global warming protest, and they have to cancel because of an ice storm, which has happened more than once. But that was my little story, a little bit of entertainment about the this kind of climate cult stuff and getting iced.